Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of the Best and Worst series. Now, so far in this series, we have covered uncommons and rares, and in today's episode, we are going... that little stutter, I don't know why. It was going so well, and then that little stutter, it's like when you're like walking up the stairs and you trip a little bit, but you don't fall, but your heart skips a beat. That's exactly what happened. But anyway, today's episode, we're going to be covering super rares, and I want to be telling you what I think are the best super rare photos and the worst super rare photos per RQ. Now, why do I do this series? I mean, honestly, I just think it's fun, but also because I do genuinely believe that how the car looks dictates if I'm going to keep it or not. And not only just me, but for many players as well. Chances are, if the photo looks worse, you are probably not going to want to collect it if the car isn't that good based off its statistics. You know, like, for example, I'm going to show you two photos of maybe Volkswagen Scirocco's, for example. Let's say one Volkswagen Scirocco had a really good photo, as it does in the game to be fair, and the other Volkswagen Scirocco, same RQ, same exact car, just has a different photo, black and white, not HD, zoomed in, you can only see the headlight. Obviously, you're going to choose a nicer photo, you know what I mean? But anyway, guys, I'm going to turn off my camera, and we are going to get into today's episode of the best and the worst. And starting us off with RQ40 is going to be the Nissan Xterra. In my opinion, I believe that the Nissan Xterra has the nicest photo out of all the RQ40s in the game right now. Now, honorable mentions, as you can see, goes to the Mitsubishi Shogun Black Edition, as well as the Ford Bronco V8. Now, the only reason why I decided not to put the Ford Bronco V8 in the first position is kind of the lighting. You can't really see the front of the car, if that makes sense. It just seems a little bit too bright. Now, I like the angle of the Xterra, I like the color, and it just looks like it was taken kind of, you know, either really early morning or kind of during the sunset. Something about it just looks really good. It's a really big car, but it fits perfectly in the photo, and it's really the same thing for the Nissan, but the Mitsubishi Shogun Black Edition. I think the only difference between the two cars is I slightly prefer the angle on the Nissan Xterra WD22. Now, moving on now to the worst RQ40 photo, in my opinion, is going to go to the Alfa Romeo SZ. Also agreed, shout out to Random Tuner, who has been watching the series and has been commenting down below which he feels are the best and worst photos. So whichever that we agree with for first place, I will give him a shout out as well. So yeah, man, the Alfa Romeo SZ is just disgusting. I mean, it already looks like a slice of cheese as it is, so at least give it a nice photo. I don't know. I think the Alfa Romeo SZ is one of those cars where it's a bit of an acquired taste. Like, if you like the car and how it looks, you're going to love it. In my opinion, I think it just looks kind of funky, and that photo doesn't do it any justice. So shout out to Cyanix, and obviously he has a YouTube channel as well, so I will have his YouTube channel linked in the description below. But thanks to him, he has been hooking me up with all of these amazing photos as well, and as you can see, the photo that he chose is just so much better. Like I said, the car, in terms of how it's designed, is more of a personal preference, whether you like it or not. I'm not a fan of it. It kind of actually reminds me of a Fiat Multipla, as in, like, the top of the car just seems so disproportionate and wider than it should be, or taller, I guess, than it should be. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion, but we can agree for a fact that that Alfa Romeo SZ photo is so much better. Moving on now to RQ41, the best photo in my opinion goes to the Land Rover Discovery. It's a very beautiful picture. I mean, it's very high quality. You can even see the details in the headlights, and you can see the entire car. It's a good looking car as well, and in my opinion is the best 41 RQ looking picture. Honorable mentions goes out to the Mercedes-Benz C43 AMG Estate, as well as the Renault 5 Turbo. Now, I think that the Renault 5 Turbo would be the best RQ41 photo to most people, but I just don't like French cars, man. I don't like how they look, but the Discovery does look really, really cool. It's a really good photo. Either way, Renault, Land Rover, they're both really good. Mercedes is really good as well. I just think that it could be a little bit better if you could see those back wheels. The worst RQ41, in my opinion, goes to the Alfa Romeo once again, 75. I mean, black and white background, so nothing much going on over there, and you can't see the entire front of the car. Not only can you not see the front of the car or the front wheel, you can't even see the hood. So in my opinion, this is a very, very poor photo, a very, very poor shot. And once again, the photo provided by Cyanix is just so much better. Not only is the car in motion, but you get to see the entire thing. It's really, really clean. Now, moving on to RQ42. I mean, was there any doubt Was there literally any doubt? No, there was no doubt at all. Obviously, the best photo is going to go to the Charger RT. I don't care that you can't see the entire thing. I don't care that you can't see the back wheels. That is my favorite car. I think it's the most beautiful car in the entire world, and nothing is going to change that. I freaking love this car to death, man. It's just so beautiful. Honorable mentions, though, does go to the BMW Z4 S-Drive, as well as the BMW Z3 2.2. Both of the photos are very nice. I like their backgrounds, and you can see the entire car. The Charger RT, I gotta say, really beautiful photo. You get to see the entire front. The front is not blocked at all. I like the background, and the colors really work together. The blue in the ocean, the orange in the car contrasts each other very well, and the orange in the Charger blends itself with the yellow in the Super Air logo. So I do think that this is a very beautiful photo. Although I'm biased, I think it is one of the best RQ42 pictures in the entire game, along with the Z4 and the Z3. Now, moving on now, we have the worst RQ42 in my opinion, and I think that goes to the BMW 330i. Once again, the only saving grace for this RQ42 photo that is in the game is the background. It's not too bad, but you can't see the front nor can you see the back. Ironically enough, in Cyanix's photo, I believe it's actually the same damn car, but taken from a different angle and just cropped a little better, because when you look at the background, it does look pretty similar. So yeah, the 330i in Cyanix's photo is just so much better than the one represented in the game right now. Moving on to RQ43, the best photo in my opinion goes to the Lambo, the LMOO2. Absolutely just a monstrous photo. The car is massive, but it fits so well in the card. It's fantastic. Honorable mentions goes to the Abarth 124 GT and the Honda S2000. Both of those photos, I mean, they're just genuinely just very clean photos. You can see the entire car, you know, they're in motion, they're clean, they're good quality, but there is just another level to the LMOO2 that just makes it a little bit more sexy. It is a car in motion. It's a car that I don't know, is it on the salt flats? I'm not sure, but it's so beautiful. Now, moving on to the worst RQ43 photo, in my opinion, is the Mazda RX-8. Once again, agreed with Random Tuner. This thing is just disgusting. The background is, well, very boring. You cannot see the front of the car. You really just see the headlight. You can kind of see the back, but this car just looks wrong to me. A Mazda RX-8 in blue just doesn't seem right. It's like seeing a Ferrari 575 Maranello in any color besides yellow, black, or red. It just doesn't seem right. When I think of the Mazda RX-8, I think of either silver or red. And as you can see in the photo that Cyanix chose, it is in red. It just feels right. And those bronze rims, it just feels better. The background is better. The quality of the photo is just so much higher. And the Mazda RX-8 has always been a pretty unique looking car in my opinion, especially how the doors open. And honestly, I just wish that it got a unique photo instead of, you know, a dime a dozen crappy black and white background kind of photo. Moving on to RQ44 now, best photo in my opinion, the BMW iX3 Premier Edition. I think it's a very solid photo. I love the angle, I love the crop, everything about it just screams perfect. It's perfectly fit, and it's a very good looking car in my opinion. I'm not a fan of electric cars by any means, but I do like this car very much. And yeah, it's a very nice, you know, looking car, and it's a very nice looking photo. Shout out goes to the Porsche 924 Carrera GTS, as well as the Caterham 7160. I think the 924 Carrera GTS is pretty nice. I think it's a bit in your face, but you know, some people will like the vibe, some people won't. I like it, just not as much as I like the iX3 Premier Edition. Moving on to the worst 44, and I do believe it is indeed the Mercedes-Benz, yes it is, C43 AMG. Once again, it kind of just suffers that syndrome of it's a very beautiful car in real life, but the picture just doesn't do it any justice because you can't see the majority of the car. One thing about it though is you can see what I believe is called those AMG monoblock rims. I think that's the name, monoblock or something like that, because those rims are freaking iconic, bro. I love them, but you can't see the front nor can you see the back, so that's why shout out once again, in this revised photo you can actually see the entire front of the C43, and I think it looks nice nicer without the car plate anyway. And it actually makes it look more like a medium ground clearance car, because sometimes I look at the C43 and I still think, oh, it's low, but it isn't. It's medium ground clearance in the game. So the picture that Cyanix chose kind of represents that feature a lot more, that it is indeed medium ground clearance, and it still has those AMG rims, which is really nice. All right, moving on to RQ45, best photo in my opinion, the Silverado, baby. You know, there's nothing better than seeing a car in its natural habitat, especially like, you know, an all-surface tire car kicking up the dirt like that. Nothing's gonna beat it. Yeah, you can't see the entire back, but much like the Charger situation, and this is without the extra bias as well, I just think that it's a really perfect photo. If a car isn't going to fit in the photo, then I would give that car an excuse if it was massive in real life, and the Silverado is massive in real life, so you know what, that's fine. Shoutouts also go to the Morgan Roadster for just being a very clean photo and a pretty good looking car, as well as the Ford Sierra RS. I actually spent a really long time debating whether the winner was gonna go to the Silverado or the Sierra RS Cosworth. Both of those cars are exquisite. Either one can take the cake. Now, moving on to the worst RQ45 in my opinion, and I think it's one of the worst photos in the game for any car, and it's a Cadillac SRX, dude. You just, bro, you can't see the damn thing, and the back of this car is just really ugly. I mean, I can't even really tell what the background is. It's just so zoomed in, way too zoomed in. Even if you took the statistics away, this picture would still be too zoomed in. So yeah, it's a very poor photo, and I've been calling for this picture to get a change for the longest time ever, and the picture chosen by Cyanix, once again, is just beautiful. Once again, I love myself, you know, a snow background, and it's even better when you can see the contrast, black and white, but done correctly. The white background on the black car, but it's not a black and white photo by any means. It's just very clean. Moving on to RQ46, the best photo in my opinion is a very new one. It's the Holden Monaro CVAVZ. Very clean photo, and I do like Pontiacs at the end of the day, but I do like the background. It's very clean. You know, the yellow in the Monaro fits very well, the yellow in the Super logo, and you see the entire thing. The car is in motion. Shout out goes to the Ford F-150 Lightning, as well as the HSV GTO V2. Moving on to RQ47, the worst photo in my opinion is the Chevrolet Silverado SS. I love how we went from, you know, RQ45 Silverado being the best photo to RQ46 Silverado being the absolute worst. Once again, man, you just can't see the car, and that's really about it. I actually think that, you know, the photo that Hutch has chosen is pretty nice if you could zoom it out, but they didn't. You can't see the damn thing. So once again, the photo that Cyanix chosen was just so much better. You get to see the entire car of what I think is a pretty good looking pickup truck in my opinion. Moving on to RQ47, best photo in my opinion, the Porsche 718 RSK. That is one of the nicest Super 8 photos in the game, in the entire game in my opinion. The angle is perfect, the car is in motion, the car is beautiful, everything about it is just gorgeous. The only difference I would change, I mean, it's a very nitpicky thing. Maybe the color could be a darker shade so I could see the body shape a little bit more, because it is getting a little bit too bright in the back right corner. But at the same time, when you think of 718 RSK, when you think of classic Porsche, that's the only gray you want it to be in. So you know what, it's beautiful either way. Also, shout out goes to the Lotus Elise Sprint, as well as the BMW M5, which if it wasn't for the Porsche 718, the BMW M5 would be the nicest one there. Well, moving on, the worst RQ47 in my opinion, without a doubt, goes to the Charger Daytona. They did the Charger Daytona so dirty, dude. Not only is it not an HD photo, it's black and white, and you can't see the entire car. I get that it's a big car, and shout out to Hutch, at least we could see the big wing. If that wing was, you know, cropped out, it would probably be one of the worst photos in the game, but it's still really bad, dude. It's just, you know, the quality isn't very good. It's black and white, you can't see the front of the car. It's just a bit shameful, honestly. There's so many photos of the Charger Daytona because it's such an iconic car, and they chose one of the worst ones. Dodge in general has really good photos and top drives, but the Daytona kind of just misses the mark by like 10 miles. So once again, man, the photo that Cyanix chosen is just so much sexier. It's so much cleaner, man, and I would love to see the Daytona get a photo change. in top drives. Moving on to 48, 2 more RQs to go. The Lancia Fulvia Coupe is the best RQ48 in my opinion, and by quite some margin. I think that is just a very sexy photo. Nothing beats bronze rims, man. A car in motion, and I just love everything about the photo. It is just very, very clean. Shout out goes to the Ford FPV F6 Typhoon, as well as the Holden HSV GTS. Jesus Christ, Australians do not know how to name their cars, do they? It's just like the Germans, man. It's just so boring. I mean, if they just kept Typhoon, they just take away FPV and F6, like just keep Typhoon, bro. But yeah, man, the Lancia Fulvia, nicest photo by far. It is perfect by every definition of the word perfect. Alright, moving on to the worst RQ48 in my opinion is the Volkswagen Phaeton V6. Black and white photo, you can't see the entire thing. Resolution isn't very high. Once again, as agreed with Random Tuner, I just think that this car needs a picture revamp, and the one that Cyanix chosen is just so much better. And last but not least, the best RQ49 photo in my opinion, and I think a lot of people can agree, goes to the Lotus Turbo Esprit HC. Just something about those skis in the back make it look like missiles, and I just love it. Everything about it. The angle is really cool, the background is really cool, the quality of the photo is just ridiculously clean. This little like 1-inch space in between the edge of the bumper and the edge of the RQ, this little space over here is perfect. Everything about it, to its minute detail, perfect. So yeah, that's just the best photo in my opinion. Once again, agreed with Random Tuner, and shout out goes to the Ford FPV 46 as well as the Porsche Taycan. And last but not least, ending with the worst RQ49 photo in my opinion, goes to the Bentley Arnage. The quality is just very bad, a black and white background, and you can't see the majority of the front. I guess technically you can see the majority of the front, but you can't see all of it, which is a bit of a shame, because I do think that these Bentleys, although they performed really badly in top drives, they're really good looking cars. I mean, that's something that you can never disagree when it comes to Bentley. They're just really good looking cars. So I just wish that it had a better photo, and I do believe that the one Cyanix chosen just kind of represents that a lot better. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Those are the best and worst photos when it comes to super rares. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree, and do tune in again. Probably I post this series like once a month, so do tune in again for ultra rares. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to be featured with a small little shout out. Let me know down in the comments below what you think are the worst and best ultra rare pictures, and if I agree with you, then you will get a shout out. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax.